We also saw Will Jordan get his little coming out moment in an All Black jersey. And, I think a lot of people would have been hoping for a little bit more of this. He got an injury partway through the competition. But wing fullback is a place where you've got that Midas touch for a period of time. And this year, he has been sensational. Where he turns up, the ball turns up. Tries happen, things happen. Do we wait too long, Bryn, to see Will Jordan get serious game time, considering the form that he showed in Super Rugby as a fullback wing option off the bench?
I guess you could, yes and no, but I think the biggest thing for Will is that he's actually, he's been hungry. When he got his opportunity, he came into the environment, it was his first time being in the environment. And look, you had guys that were playing well as well. You had Geordie, who was there, and they had Bodie as well. So, he had to take his time. And I guess the biggest thing around that is that, we've talked around this consistently around boiling and being able to really stir. And when you do get the opportunity, you're hungry. And look, Will has an unbelievable ability to score tries, to be in and around the ball. And I've seen it at trainings, I've seen it in games, and that's one of his biggest weapons. And one guy that I do want to probably give a little bit of pat on the back is David Harvilli around that. Those two are great for us, and I know the growth that David Harvilli's helped Will. Not just this year, but the last year as well, and his growth and being able to get his game. So. Look, I think it was well overdue that performance from Will, and like I said, he's got an uncanny way of being able to score tries, man. He just pops up, and people would say, it's tinny and the intercept, or just an example of that. But I've seen him do it consistently at trainings because he's just got a knack for getting the ball. So it's one of his strengths, and he'll be looking forward to next year, and I think taking that experience and scoring a couple of tries early on in his career.
So he just reads opposition really well. He gets a feeling and he has a gist.
I don't think it's opposition personally. I think it's the guys inside him. Like we spoke about Damien McKenzie when he closed off at Eden Park and he followed Anton Leonard-Brown and Kotobidi knocked it on when they had a 4-on-1. And if you watch his first try, it's actually Rico and Jack Goodhue put a lot of line speed pressure. And sometimes wingers can hold and not bite in, but he trusted Reeks and Jack to do the business. And then he closed off with them. And because of that defensive pressure from the midfield of the All Blacks, the ball went to ground. He was in a position because he trusted his teammates and what decisions they'd made. And that created the opportunity. Whereas second one was probably a little bit more, risk versus reward. And he got the reward. But I think he makes good defensive decisions in that wing spot. And he's done it a lot for the Crusaders as well by trusting the guy inside him and their defensive capabilities. And I don't want to make it about Reeks, but I've spoken that, people have questioned his defence at centre, but what his speed brings to putting skill sets under pressure in that centre role defensively is only going to be better and better for him once he gets the reading and understanding of that role better. And he's doing a lot of work around that with Tana Umaga at the Blues. But his speed, and Bryn, correct me if I'm wrong, but his speed off the line to close down and put pressure for that first Will Jordan try was probably not many centres can have that ability to just close down that amount of space that quickly.
Yeah. I'm not sure people understand how fast he is. So he's the fastest Blues player of all time, over 10 and 40?
Yeah, I don't know that. Like, I'm pretty quick, so I'm not sure. But no, he'd definitely be up there. But like, it's just, if you just watch it again, if you go back and watch and just watch Reeks, and you'll see how his and Jack to a point. I think it was Jack or Anton, one of the two. And it was Jack, sorry. And then he just flies, and it puts that skill, and it just rushes that pass, and that pass goes to ground, and then they're off. Like, don't get me wrong, like Will Jordan was exceptional off the bench, but it was a lot of hard work from others that created those opportunities. Not just saying Reeks, I'm saying about the forward pack and the work that had happened the first 60 minutes to create those opportunities. Yes, his name's in bright lights, but I always like to bring it back to the reason why they get those opportunities.
Bryn?
Around that, Jeff, I 100% agree. I think when you're seeing wingers get intercepts and I guess making that ball and all tackle, it just comes back to everybody in that backs position knowing exactly who they have. So I could probably imagine before those tries, the understanding of exactly who they had and the position of and the people that they had, they knew exactly who they had. So it gives us the likes of, you look about Rico and his understanding and his speed. And when you can give a guy like that assurance and certainty around who he has to go get, then he can use his speed and put his skill set under pressure like he did on the weekend. So the alignment of Jack, Richie, Rico, and then Will, the four of those guys, and then you've also got Bodie in the fullback, giving Will confidence to go hard and go get the ball or go for the ball. It all works good. We've talked around pendulums, around, defensively, around the backfield and wingers being on strings and fullbacks being aligned, but it's no different to your front four and your backs. If you're clear and have an understanding of who you need to get, then you get the rewards of Will getting an intercept or Rico putting people under pressure.
He's got a 14-15 role at the Crusaders. Do you think it's good for him to be in a dual role like that? Obviously, it gives him options. But is there a position that you think he should settle on at some point out of the two?
I think it's good to have that tag of being a 14 and a 15 because if I look at this year, where you had Bodie who covered 15, so you need to be able to have the position to play a winger, but then again you still want to have the ability to be known as a fullback. So I think it's traditionally happened. You look at Bender, he was a world class fullback, but he ended up being on the wing because Dagger would end up playing at fullback. So it's happened a lot, and I guess it's a transition for young fellas coming through to have an understanding. Yep, if you're a fullback, it's great to have that winger tag as well, and especially to be versatile in an All Blacks team where you can play two positions. It helps, but we're pretty fortunate at the Crusaders where we've got Davey. He's great. He's a great fullback for us and brings probably something a little bit different to Will, and Will brings something different to Davey. So for me personally, selfishly, I love having both of them in the team at the same time. So it brings competition within the team, and it brings the best out of Davey. It brings the best out of Will, and Sevu's there as well, who'll be on the wing. So it just adds competition for our team. So I think Will, if he can continue to keep playing fullback and wing, which he probably will, it'll be great for him going forward in his future.